There are newer advances in disposal methods such as pyrolysis, biodegradable containers, and biodegradation. These have fewer functional problems but more feasibility problems such as initial and maintenance costs. It's emphasized that government as well as the citizenry has a role to play in adopting more suitable solutions to the waste problem.
In the past, what was the practice was that waste management was the business of the government alone. However, given rapid urbanization, increasing population, the structures that existed in the past can no longer meet the needs and demands of today and tomorrow. So there is a need for public and private sector to come together, and everybody has to see themselves as being responsible for addressing the challenge of waste management in Nigeria.
What you just do, for me, I would not really qualify it as waste management. What you're just doing now is just landfilling, or just doing a waste transfer from one position to another, because we've not really got the structure well for proper waste management. It involves processes of waste collection, transportation, maybe other reuse, reduction, and before you talk about final disposal, and then be processed to other things. What was doing is basically transporting and disposing. We're not processing it to other things. But we started in my state right now. We've started a little bit of it, trying to convert the inorganic waste to some other material that could be useful in the construction industry, for road construction, for interlocking blocks and other things. Then the organic, we're converting into organic fertilizer. We've started that, but at very low scale. So we hope to get investors coming from other places to scale up what we've done so far.
A lot of problems such as inadequate number of vehicles, lack of spare parts, dearth of funds, poor technical know-how, poor maintenance practices, insufficient funding, and lack of motivation has bedeviled the agency responsible for the disposal and collection of waste.
You know, for Nigeria, we don't really have a landfill, properly engineered landfill system. We have a dump site. But what the government has done for now is looking at those who are capable of recycling some of these waste streams. There is a recycler based in Lagos here that takes up PET bottles. He recycles it into other products. The machine and equipment he has is even more, it doesn't have enough. It's not producing to capacity, meaning we are not even having enough collection system to be able to feed into that system. Recyclers are there, different kinds of recyclers, those that are middlemen, those that can just even crush, those that can bale to be able to feed into the recycling facility. It's not just one-off thing. For the electronic sector too, we already have a group that has set up a recycling facility in Ogun State. He has just completed the environmental impact assessment, which will now enable him to bring in the equipment to do the recycling. What we did as government is to make sure that he has done the environmental impact assessment, and the equipment that he showed to us is comparable with the other equipment in other countries, in the developed countries, so that he will do a good job, not that it will be a cherry picking thing. Cherry picking means you just pick the good ones and then the bad ones you just throw it away. That is the major problem that we have.
Achieving sustainable development is inseparably linked to the promulgation and establishment, enforcement, regulations, legislation, and control criteria on environmental management and pollution control. But an overlap in the agencies responsible for effective enforcement of the various laws may create problems for effective waste management.
Nothing could come cheap, and investing in waste management too is not a cheap thing. But the beauty of it is that can I make profit from it? Even if I'm investing 100 billion, will I invest 100 billion and make 100 billion plus? Fine, it's worth it. Even if I'm investing $1 million and I'm going to be making 500,000, then it's not profitable. It's not worth investing. So it's not a matter of the size of the portfolio. It's a matter of how profitable can that investment be. And I think if you get the process right, if we build on what has been established, what we have achieved so far, I think the process and the profit will come in handy and very quickly too.
As far as you are a human being, you must be able to produce a waste. But what we are trying to do here is to make sure that when you have the waste, it's totally utilized in terms of production ventures. You can use the waste in various forms, into plastic recycling, into energy production, and other purposes. So that's what they are meaning this waste, zero waste generation. That shows instead of you to be dumping the waste which has been collected, you are now trying to use it for another process.
Some of the major problems confronting and mitigating against an effective management and sustainable development of waste collection and disposal are population growth, waste disposal habits of the people, attitude to work of those vested with the responsibility of collecting and disposing the waste, lack of adequate equipment and plants and other tools necessary, and corruption. Experts say recycling programs can help reduce solid waste pollution, but the key to solving severe solid waste problems lies in reducing the amount of waste generated.
If you manage the waste, if you collect them and you separate them into valuable components, all right, so what you are going to dispose is already less because you have taken away some. Take, for example, in Yokohama, Japan, electricity is from waste, from the combustible part. So what we need to do is to manage the waste, separate them into components. Some of them can still be recycled. Those that cannot, some of them can be treated. For example, the organic portion, like food waste, can be turned into fertilizer or manure and all that. So you now find that if you take away the metal, take away the glass, take away the plastic, less will go to the landfill.
Participants at the summit believe only landfill system of waste disposal is being generally adopted in all the 36 states, including the FCT.
We have the national policy on environment. We have a national waste management strategy as well from the Federal Ministry of Environment. And we are, for NESRIA, our mandate is to enforce the provisions of all environmental laws, standards, regulations, including international conventions. We have a national environmental sanitation and waste control regulations. And for every sector in the manufacturing sector, we also have national environmental regulation that deals with every sector. And there is waste control aspects in each of the regulations. So we monitor to ensure that they carry out what they are expected to do.
The occurrence of scavenging between the point of waste generation and the disposal location influences the quantity of waste that will be disposed. Therefore, this aspect of scavenging must be taken into account during the process of estimating waste quantities and characteristics in the country. Domestic waste management, collection, and disposal have always been a universal problem.
Well, that's our program for today. Thank you for being a part of it. We hope to be back with you next week. But before then, should you have any comment or question, our inbox earthfile@channelstv.com is always available. From all of us here in Lagos, it's bye for now.